So our goal in 5.1 again was I can solve a system of equations by graphing. And we're really going to get into graphing those systems of equations today. So we already mentioned what a system of equations was, right? And where we would find the solution. The solution is the point where my two equations intersect, because that is a point that is on both equations. So it's going to make both equations true. So in this case, my solution was the point 2, 5. Right? So answer is an ordered pair. I write my answer as 2, 5. So let's take a look at this first example. I'm going to go ahead and take one color, right? And you can switch colors on formative, so you can do this as well, and graph my first equation. So I put my y-intercept, so on the y-axis, I put a point at 4, because b is 4. Then I have to identify my m, so the number in front of x was -1. That means I go down 1 to the right 1. And I can continue that pattern. I want to put as many points on that graph as I can. And then I'm going to draw in the line to represent that equation. The second equation I want to look at is y equals 3. So I'm going to pick a different color, and I'm going to graph this equation now. I have y equals 3. How do I graph a y equals that doesn't have the mx plus b part, right? Well, reminder, y equals a number makes a horizontal line, and x equals a number gives me a vertical line. So y equals 3 means I have a horizontal line at 3. I know the y value is going to continue to be constant at 3. So I put a point on the y-axis at 3, and then I draw in my horizontal line. So everywhere on that line, the y value stayed at +3. My answer to this problem, solving the system of equations, is where did those two lines intersect? And they intersected at the point 1, 3. So my solution is 1, 3. The only thing left for me to do, and we're not going to require you to do this for every problem, right? But let's practice it at least once. So we'll practice it for this one, would be to check to make sure that that's the point that makes both original equations true. So if I look at the first equation, y equals -x plus 4, and I put in 1 for x and 3 for y. Does 3 actually equal -1 plus 4? Well, 4 minus 1 is 3. So that was true. We want to do the same thing in that second equation, y equals 3. If I put in 3 for y, that gives me 3 equals 3, which is true. So the point 1, 3 makes both equations true. Now I'm really sure that that was the right solution. Okay. Again, the checking isn't something you are required to do. If you can't tell exactly where it is, like if your graph maybe goes by 2s and you're not positive that it hits at a point, it's really good to check. But if you're sure it hit at that point, then I think we're good to go without checking. Let's look at another couple examples. If we graph these two equations, so first I start at 3. And my slope is -1/2. So I go down 1 and to the right 2. The second equation, if I start at -2, and then I go up 3 and right 4. Or down 3 and back 4. So again, all we're doing is graphing two lines on the same graph. That's nothing new. The new part is saying, where do they intersect? And if I write my answer as an ordered pair, that is the point where x is 4, right? Along the x-axis, it was at 4, and along the y-axis, it's at 1. One more example. If we start by graphing our first line, b is 3. My slope is 2, which I can put over 1, so I go up 2 and right 1. Or down 2 and left 1 would be the same thing. Put as many points as I can on and connect with my straight line. Grab my second color. Uh-oh. This time it's not y equals mx plus b. So before I can even start graphing, I need to get y by itself. We practiced that yesterday also. I have 2y is negative 2x minus 6. And then when I divide everything by 2, I get that y is negative 1x minus 3. If I put that over 1, that tells me my b is negative 3. And my m was negative 1 over 1, so I go down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. My final answer is, where did those two graphs intersect? Where did they meet? Along the x-axis, it was at negative 2, and along the y-axis, it was at negative 1. So the point is the point negative 2, negative 1. Now, there are times where we end up with special cases. The two special cases we could have are what happens if my two equations are lines that are parallel and they're never going to intersect, right? If my answer is where they intersect and they never intersect, then we would say there is no solution, right? If I have two equations that turn out to be the exact same line, right? That's another possibility. They look different to start, but they actually end up being the exact same line, right? Then I have infinite solutions. And we can either write out infinite solutions, or I'm okay with you using the infinity symbol for infinite also, like they showed right here. So if we go ahead yet and take a look at one example of each of those. If I start by graphing my first equation, b is negative 4, m is 3 over 2, so I start at negative 4 and I go up 3 over 2. Up 3 over 2. And then in my other color, I take my second equation. In order to graph that one, I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I get negative 2y is negative 3x minus 2. And if I divide everything by negative 2, y turns to positive 3 over 2x plus 1. And there's a hint already. If I look and say, well, b is 1, m is 3 over 2. So I have the same m. Remember, that was our definition of parallel lines. They had the same slope, right? We talked about that when we looked at parallel and perpendicular lines. So I know these two lines are never going to intersect. Instead of being able to write an ordered pair for an answer, my answer is there is no solution. Because whatever numbers I pick for x and y, I'm never going to be able to find a point that's on both lines. And our last example. This time it looks like I'm going to need to get y by itself in both equations. So if I start with the first one, 2x minus 6y equals 12. And I subtract 2x from both sides. Negative 6y is negative 2x plus 12. And then divide everything by negative 6. I end up with y equals, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 2 over 6, I can divide both of those by 2 to reduce that to 1/3 x. Positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So I want to graph this for my first line. To graph that, I know b is negative 2, and my slope is 1/3. So if I put my first point at negative 2 on the y-axis, and I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3 doesn't fit again, so down 1 and back 3. That's as many points as I can fit on that one, and connect that line. And then I go to graph my second line. If I subtract 3x from both sides, negative 9y is negative 3x plus 18. And divide everything by negative 9. I get that y is, well, I can reduce again. This time I can divide both by 3. And I know a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. So I get 1/3 x, and 18 divided by negative 9 is negative 2. If b is negative 2 and m is 1/3, I end up getting the exact same graph, right? I didn't do as good a job drawing my line the second time, but it really should be that that's exactly the same line. So not only do I find one point that works, right? I find an infinite number of points. Every single point that fits on this line is actually on both lines, right? I have an infinite number of answers. So I'm going to say I have infinite solutions. That doesn't mean that every single point works, because this point up here, for example, that point isn't a solution. It just means that there are an infinite number of points that fit on that line. So we can't just say there's one solution, or 2 or 3, right? We couldn't even list them all, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't find things that are not solutions. So a quick summary. Our 3 possibilities. If my lines are parallel, we would have no solution. If my lines intersect, I have one solution. And whenever it's actually the same line, right, I get the same line twice, that's when I have infinite solutions. So go ahead and see if you could try some of those practice problems, please.